Hello and welcome to today's yoga journey. I'm Sonia and today I'm gonna share a practice that will strengthen and stretch and get everything moving in a fairly short amount of time, and you won't actually even stand up. So if you're somebody that struggles getting on and off the ground, or if you're just feeling like you want to kind of take it easy and stay low, then this one should be perfect and fit the bill. We will start sitting, and definitely find a comfortable seated position that works for you. One, however, where you're able to find that ability to lengthen the spine and feel upright, open across your chest, relaxed in your shoulders. And then whatever parts of you are touching the floor, just start tuning into feeling supported and grounded. And once you feel like you've got all those bits in place, start saying hello to the breath. Nice big breath in and nice big breath out. A couple more like that, just really waking up that breathing apparatus. Letting go of any of that superficial stuff that has been hanging on. And then without necessarily losing that breath, starting to allow it to have a more calming feeling, perhaps if it's possible, both in and out through the nose, so closing the mouth and slowing it down a notch or two, so that you can really feel each little moment of your breath. See if you can maybe even hear it. See if you can visualize it traveling to nourish all parts of your body, all of your systems. And now let's go ahead and start adding movement. So we'll start with some nice reaching arms on our inhales and floating them back down on the exhales. Two more like that. One more. And once your hands hit the floor, leave one of them there and start coming into some side bends. We'll do the same side a few times. Inhaling as you find your way back to center, nice and long, and exhaling into that nice reaching side bend. One last time on that side. Big breath. And then just in your own fluid, graceful way, switching sides. 3 on the second side. One last one. And once you find your self back at center, nice and grounded, nice and long in the spine, bring those arms up, halfway up, parallel to the ground, and then take them back. Really squeeze those shoulders, wring out any tension you might have there. Open up that heart and perhaps even look up ever so slightly. That will be your inhale. And your exhale will be to wrap those arms straight out in front of you, reaching them as far forward as you can, and then rounding back into that. Really letting that spine round, that chin drop, and finding your rhythm of repeating that a few more times, slow and controlled, both the movement and the breath. Letting this be a nurturing time. One last time into that nice big heart opening, shoulder squeezing moment. And this time as you bring the arms out in front, keep the spine upright and long. Hands are together, and we're gonna go ahead and draw some circles in front of us. So tuning into those shoulders, make those circles only as large as is okay for your shoulders. And we will do a few in each direction. So just look for that nice smooth transition. Nothing jerky. Last one. And once it gets back to center, arms are still parallel to the ground. Open them up wide one more time. And coming into some twists. So taking those long arms and just exploring how far you can take them back and looking behind you as you do so. Going from side to side without rushing. Just really give yourself a chance to feel the opportunity to wring out shoulders, spine, back, and have that breath be a part of what you've got going on. Stay present with it. Last one. As you roll back to center, we'll take those arms up into the air one more time. Nice big reach. And this time as the hands float down, plant them behind you, giving your arms the opportunity to start feeling strong and supportive. And as you look at your legs, rather than having them stacked upon one another, have one in front of the other. And then when you feel ready, use those strong arms to allow yourself to lift those hips off the floor, lift that heart, and float back down. And we'll do 2 more like that. One more. As you land back on the floor, we'll reach up one more time, and this time bow forward towards that space in front of your legs and walk those hands as far forward as you can. Then let that head go, let that back go, and just breathe. Really striving to be as relaxed as you can here. As you start to bring yourself back up, restacking that spine, we'll take those arms up one more time. This time while they're there, see if you can switch the legs, other leg in front, and then bring those hands back down, planting them behind you, building those strong arms, and in the rhythm and timing of your breath, inhale to float those hips off the floor, and exhale to float back down. 2 more times. One more, really slow and controlled. Full breaths, full expression of your movement. And once you land on the floor, again, reach up, that nice lengthening, heart opening, and bow towards the floor, coming into your fold. Let that head go. Let that spine surrender to gravity, those back muscles relax and release. As you make your way back up, we'll go ahead and unravel those legs, planting those feet about mat width apart. Hands again go behind us in that nice grounded, strong place, heart lifted, shoulders squeezing towards one another. And see if you can maintain that in the upper body while you windshield wiper your legs, drawing both knees towards one side and then the other. Finding that timing that's your timing, where your movement and your breath are coordinated. Allowing this to be a time where you're intentionally slowing down, giving yourself a chance to feel and nurture your body with that nice calming breath. One more time, each side. And once you get to center, plant those feet, get them ready to be nice and strong. Your hands are still strong behind you, and we'll start floating up into a nice reverse table. Shoulders are over wrists, knees are over ankles, and you'll just lift and lower, opening up your body as much as you can on the rise, and allowing it to relax back to the floor as you lower. One more like that. Once you've landed on the floor, let's go ahead and now straighten those legs, coming into a staff pose. Feet are flexed, maybe pulling flesh away from your sits bones so you can really feel your nice grounded seat, that nice long spine, and then let's add those reaching arms. Breathing here for a moment, just feeling that strength and spaciousness in your body, that alignment. And we're going to come in and out of some forward folds. So you'll hinge forward, almost like you're drawing your heart towards your big toes. Once you feel like you can't go any further without rounding, allow that rounding to start happening. Just round nice and gently towards those legs. Head falls towards the shins or the knees. And then you'll draw yourself back towards upright by stacking that spine in a nice rolling action. One vertebrae at a time, and then adding the reach. So kind of looking for your own fluid, slow, controlled rhythm with that. Folding, rounding back up to upright, reaching, opening, stretching, and one more time like that. We will end in that place where we're in our staff pose, reaching overhead. And this time, as the hands come down, you'll again plant them behind you. Strong arms, shoulders over wrists. This time we'll again start lifting that pelvis off the floor. This time you'll have a nice, long, strong body, drawing the soles of your feet towards the floor, and then lowering down, nice and controlled. 2 more times. Let's do one more like that. And back down. Let's take one more forward fold. So one more time, reaching, hinging, and then rounding, relaxing, and collapsing. This time staying in the fold for a handful of breaths. Feeling the stretch down the backs of the legs, maybe flexing the feet a little bit more. Striving to let go in the back body and in the mind. Take those nice full breaths. Slow and smooth. As we start drawing ourselves back up towards upright, let's now go ahead and straddle those legs. However wide your legs go, where they feel like you can keep the toes pointing towards the ceiling as well as the kneecaps. You do want to feel a bit of a stretch down your inner thighs, so just kind of finding that happy medium. And then let's go ahead and again reach those arms overhead. We're going to go ahead and take side bends here. So keeping those legs and that pelvis nice and grounded, you'll start hinging towards one of your legs, using it as some support. Maybe you're able to reach the foot and just really reaching that top arm. And we are going to kind of teeter-totter from side to side, nice and slow and controlled. Bring that breath into that stretch that you're creating and feeling. Striving to keep that torso as spacious as possible, even when you're folded over. Just always thinking about length and open heart and space for those lungs to really take their fullest breath. Let's do one more, whichever side is next. And as you come back up to center, we'll plant those hands behind us and rock the feet, or like windshield wipering the feet. And you may find that you don't have a huge range of motion there, but you are letting your hips move here. Your hands behind you are really just to sort of support you from falling over backwards. So kind of wherever they feel comfortable. And the more times that you do this, maybe you start to feel like things loosen up and you can roll a little further into it. I'm going to just offer the option of coming off the floor with the same movement. If that's too much, then just stay low to the ground. One more. As you center out, let's go ahead and reach those arms overhead. Those feet are still flexed, and we're going to forward fold in that nice wide-legged position. So bring the hands down so that you can explore how far you can comfortably walk them. Then maybe it's forearms that support you. Maybe you're able to put your head on the floor. Maybe you're not. Just remember that you're right where you need to be, doing good things for yourself right now. This is a letting go moment as well as a nice deep stretch for those legs. Just breathe with the sensations. Strive to tune into feeling an opportunity for some release somewhere, wherever those tight spots show up. And then let's go ahead and walk ourselves back up. Once we're upright, we'll bring those legs back in. And this time, start rolling down towards the floor, finding yourself nice and long, including reaching your arms beyond your head. So you're just getting a really nice full body stretch. We're going to tune into a little bit of core. So starting to bring your breath there, if it isn't already, just really feeling your belly rising and falling as you breathe. And again, you'll want to match your movement with your breath. Our movement is going to be to pick your arms and one of your legs up, bringing everything back to the floor on the exhales, alternating legs. If you feel like you want a little more for your core, you could pick your heads and shoulders off the floor as you come into that rising place. Next time you're in that risen place, go ahead and grab the leg wherever you can and just let that be a stretch, whether your head is on the floor or not, drawing your leg towards your face. The other leg is long on the floor. We're focusing the breath in the belly. That leg that you've got in your hand, you're going to allow it to start bending and squeeze it in towards you. Head on the floor now. Just really squeezing that leg, giving yourself a chance to feel any gunk in the hip socket that's ready to make its way out, and helping that gunk make its way out even more. Let that bent leg start moving around in that hip socket. Any way that feels good. Could be circular, could be side to side. And we're going to take a recline twist here. So kind of centering yourself out on the floor, grabbing that bent leg with the opposite hand and using that hand to help you draw that bent leg across your body. You are rolling your hip off the floor, however, trying to keep both shoulders on the ground. You could turn your eyes the opposite way than your knee went. Once you feel like you're in place, you're getting some good stretching happening. Hold and breathe. Let your body really receive this one. Give yourself a chance to just really feel your body in this interesting shape. As we unwind out of there, the back centers out on the floor. We'll lengthen that leg up into the air one last time. Make those toes as pointed as you can and give your ankle a little bit of attention. Just a couple little wiggles in each direction. Maybe wiggle the toes and then allow that leg to float back towards the floor and switch sides. So the second leg comes up, perhaps your head and shoulders do too. You're just breathing into that nice stretch. As you start making your way back towards the floor, the leg's gonna bend and you're gonna squeeze it in towards you, squeezing it in tight enough that you start tuning into the little tight areas that tend to build up in those hip sockets. And then rolling into your recline twist, grabbing that knee with the opposite hand, helping it draw towards the floor on the other side of your body, and perhaps turning your head the opposite way. Find that breath. Feel it, hear it. Slow it down, lengthen it. Maybe visualize it traveling through the body, energizing all of your systems, all of your cells. Unwinding, and I guess this is a little backwards, but that's okay. Taking that same bent leg, coming into those nice circles in that hip socket, helping the gunk out. And maybe it's more of a side to side than circles. If circles don't feel good, just get some movement, lubricating that hip socket. The rest of your body is as relaxed as it can be, while you just focus on that range of motion available to you. Once it centers out, we'll straighten it up one more time with those really pointed toes and that little bit of TLC for the ankles and the toes. And then float that leg down to meet the other leg. One more of those really nice, big, full body stretches. Breathe into that for a moment. Just feel that spaciousness, that stretch, that reach. And then go ahead and slide your feet in so that your heels are close to your buttocks, but your feet are able to stay flat on the floor. You want to feel like your feet are a nice grounding place. So, pressing the soles of your feet into the floor, and then feel the ability to start lifting the pelvis off the floor. However high your body lets you. Hips go high, belly goes high, feet are planted, and your arms are reaching overhead. As you start to roll that spine nice and slowly and carefully towards the floor, once your low back lands, we're going to actually lift our head and shoulders off the floor and reach those hands between our knees, coming into another opportunity for some core. You'll take those arms back overhead as you start to roll your spine off the floor and lift your hips high. So finding your rhythm with that, looking for smooth and graceful and slow. I'm going to do about 3 more. Really see if you can feel that belly emptying out, drawing navel to spine. One last one. And as you come to that place where you're reaching between your knees, let's pause and just breathe. Reach. Power up your core. As you allow yourself to come out of that, head comes towards the floor. This time, both knees come in towards your chest. Give yourself another squeezing moment. Enough of a squeeze that you feel the opportunity to wring stuff out. And we're going to take those knees and we're going to take them as wide apart as we can. Then we're going to turn the soles of our feet and point them towards the ceiling. So you should find these legs moving towards 90 degrees. Reaching up, seeing if you can grab your feet. If that's too far away, grab some portion of your legs. But whatever you're grabbing, drawing those bent legs towards the floor, coming into happy baby pose. Head is relaxed on the floor. Back is supported by the floor. And breath is nice and full. Really feel those lungs filling and emptying. That belly rising and falling. And whatever it is that you feel in your hips, allow your breath to be like medicine. moving out the tension and the kinks, maybe the emotional stuff that we tend to hold there. As we make our way out of this, we're going to bring the soles of our feet together, grabbing a hold of those feet. Your legs are like butterfly wings, and we're going to lift our head and shoulders off the floor again, feet and face moving towards one another. Now the feet and face move away from one another. You're holding onto those feet so your arms become long. Your shoulders are drawing towards the floor. The feet are pressing away, creating lengthening and strengthening in those arms. Stretch and release for those shoulders. Knees moving away. And as you make your way out of this, very gently release everything. Let your legs stay in that butterfly shape, but allow it to come towards the floor, your head towards the floor. And just let this be your final resting pose. If it's way too much on your hips to be in this position, perhaps just gently straighten the legs. If you are comfortable here, just really allow it to be a nice, gentle opportunity to open up, not only through the hips and groin area, but also the belly is really spacious here. So just really allowing those organs that live in there to receive breath. That nice, calm, yet energizing quality of your slow, full, deep breaths. And just see if you can stay here for something like 5 to 10 more breaths, receiving the benefits of the pose, but also the stillness and the connection to your breath. Just allow yourself to absorb your practice. Of course, stay here for as long as you feel inclined to do so. Maybe straighten the legs out now if you haven't already, and move towards more of a traditional Shavasana relaxation. Or if you feel complete, make your way into whatever's next. I hope to see you again. Namaste.